Good morning, Harrington Park family. Thought this would be a great opportunity for us to kind of connect virtually uh, through this video. And again, I'd like to begin by thanking everyone for everything they've done to support our children during these very, very difficult past few months. Throughout these months, I've seen students, family, staff, live who we are as a district, the leading the way mentality, the caring, the creativity, the compassion. Uh, these are just some of those words that I have described our community response to the challenge that we have taken upon ourselves. And I wanted to take a moment to tell you how committed we are to the health and safety of our students. And when we transitioned to remote learning, in March, we knew that the closing was essentially to help flatten that curve, right? And infections across northern New Jersey. And it was profoundly challenging. And, within 72 hours, our school community rose to that challenge and we persevered through. And since March, we have been holding large scale meetings with our mayor, council, police, fire, ambulance, local parent group, staffing, just to kind of reconnect on a weekly basis to make sure that we are all moving forward on the same page. And this past month has been very difficult because obviously with the State Department of Education presenting plans to reopen schools, and while that document was to serve as a roadmap, truth be told, the information has been limited, the guidance has been at times contradictory. So we felt it's important to kind of brief you on some of those crucial elements that we believe that's going to bring us to success when we come back into this district through 2021. So as we know, the current situation demands that we're going to begin to start a year that's been unprecedented in recent times. But if you think about it, we have gone through different challenges like this when Superstorm Sandy hit and we were shut for 11 days through October. And those were times that were very difficult, but this district has always kind of rose up for that. And what I'd like to do is talk to you about the 6 key elements that we believe to be our core program when it comes to whatever educational program we develop, be it a brick and mortar facility program with students and staff in the building, a modification of that where we would have students and staff on a rotational basis due to class sizes, hybrid model, or a totally virtual model. We have, over the last 2 months, working diligently to create these models, and we paused on pushing them out for a reason. One of the things we did not want to do was to create confusion and a misunderstanding and then build more anxiety through our families. And if we were pushing out plans and then having to change those plans over and over again due to what we're seeing from the State Department of Ed and the governor's office, that would be something that I feel would cause more anxiety for us. So we thought that these 6 things, these 6 core elements, regardless of what we do and how we do it, will be the pillars for us to be successful. And one being, we will have a 2-step screening process for our students and our faculty prior to the arrival of school every day. This will be a way for us to coordinate with our families, utilizing a program that we've used before for safety and security. It's a RoofNet app, and that app is going to allow us to send daily notifications to our families. Our families will be able to screen their children at home over the core elements that is important for screening, not just the idea of a temperature check. These other elements are critical for all of us to know. So that information would then get into the app, that button would get hit, and it would automatically upload into our student information system. And then when students arrive that day, they'll have their what we call our boarding pass, which is something we're working on right now. They won't even know it exists. It'll be something that will hang on their backpack, and it'll allow us to screen them in, and again, lessen the anxiety of entering a facility in a different process than they have before, right? So part of that is a way of passively understanding that we're working through this process. One, we are looking at a modified educational program through what we are going to call our phase one. Our phase one is going to be a very short window of time to get back into district, get everyone comfortable. There's a health and wellness factor for us as well, for our students and staff, that we need to address and become cognizant of. And that's going to allow us the ability to kind of make sure our kids, our students are okay, right? It allows us to kind of modify programs based off of whatever state mandate does ask us to be required. And then we can then move into phase two and another phase three once we're ready to go there. Another key component for us is an extensive cleaning of the facility multiple times a day. We have now, and we've had in the past, equipment that is built for this type of situation. We have materials and chemicals and cleaning products that are needed to do exactly what we can do, and we want to thank obviously our team. We have the capacity to do the facility with under an hour, and that includes our large gym and all-purpose room. We also wanted to make sure that we had small class sizes to ensure a couple of things. One, the idea of social distancing, right? That is a critical element for us. To do this, we are obviously going to look for spaces throughout the building for students to utilize. Additionally, we're going to be putting kids in cohort groups for their academic and social emotional instruction. And staff will move throughout the building to work with those cohorts to minimize student travel. That's going to be a very key element for that piece. But another core piece of small class sizes, right, is that we have the ability then to get very deep into the knowledge work for our students, right? One of my thoughts is why we've benchmarked and we're having some summer programming this year is that we continue to make sure that our students academically are doing the very, very best they can. We're going to handle the health and wellness piece. We're going to make sure our students are in a great place. But I also wanted to make sure that we can give them and provide them the very, very, very best academic program we can. And using this small class size model, we can really get into some deep work for them. I had mentioned a health and wellness program. We are going to ensure that our students in transition back into HP academically and emotionally. And what we call this is it's going to be our periods of love, right? It is when we are going to be able to love up our kids that we have not seen in 5 months. And I think that's what students need, right? They are going to feel that piece of Harrington Park that generations have felt, right? It is that overwhelming feeling of I'm a Spartan, and that is something very powerful. So I want you to know how important that component is for us. And lastly, the sixth component is what we believe to be a very critical element through all of our conversations with our medical professionals, is the initial phase one mandatory use of face masks and gaiters by students, staff, and visitors during that initial phase one of our programming. Now, there will be breaks and outside time and all these things to kind of normalize that situation. But what we do know, which is very important for us, is in our initial phase during that program, if we have the ability to do this and utilize these face masks and gaiters, it'll allow us to be successful and hopefully get us back into phase 2 quicker than other districts. And that's something very critical for me, to get that program up and running. So as we're looking for this, and I talk about this in my letter, that during this pandemic, we talk about this belief of a district and our leading the way mentality, and I try to explain to families and people that this is the greatest gift we can give our children, is the idea of service, right? We believe in that as a core philosophy. Our 8th graders, as part of Project Pride, give of themselves throughout the year, be it at our soup kitchen, or at one point was cleaning the watershed. These are moments in their lives that they realize that it is above oneself. And I think that's very important for young kids to learn, right? So, wow, what a great opportunity for us to teach our youngsters at this point that what I'm doing is of service of others, right? It is a random act of kindness, if we think of it in that sense, right? Where I am showing you a love of each other because we are going to do this for each other. And I think that is something we can accomplish together. So I early on want to thank everyone for that ability. So as we're looking forward to the start of this school year, we're being very critical in the idea that we have to be nimble in these programs, that we have to adjust as needed. We are continuing to evaluate what the state is asking us to do based off of those guidances and health conditions. While we're uncertain to what the 2021 year looks like in stone, I can tell you that whatever program we do push to our students and staff is going to be built around those 6 tenets, and will continue to allow us to move forward. And I think that's the best way we can do that. Now, as a district, I also want to recognize that there is always a feeling of anxiety when it comes to situations like this, and there's an uncertainty, and know that we're working tirelessly to create this educational program that honors who we are, honors the core vision of Harrington Park. And as a family, we truly want as much in-person instruction as safely possible, right? And it is to maximize that every turn, utilizing PPE dividers on our tables, hand washing stations throughout the facility, even in our hallways, replacing some of our older water fountains with newer hand washing stations. Like, there is an ability for us to do those things, those operational things that will get us back in and get us moving forward. But what I wanted to discuss is, because of those things, because of those fears and anxieties, right, there is going to be an understanding that some of our families are going to choose what we are going to call our Harrington Park Virtual School, right? That is a program within itself that will run autonomously, irregardless of any brick and mortar program that we do. And this allows families to, and now that has changed, select this option, right? To choose this option, to say, we're choosing to keep our children home this start of the year, and we are going to become part of the Harrington Park Virtual Program. We understand that the curriculum is a Harrington Park curriculum delivered by certificated staff, and that we can return back into district as the different phases occur at the end of the first or second trimester, or whatever they decide, but it will be the end of a trimester, just for scheduling purposes. This change has occurred just within the matter of days. When I first sent this letter out, we had been told by the Commissioner's office that there was going to be a change in philosophy regarding choice, and that it would be a doctor's note. That has now changed. The governor yesterday spoke about choice, and choice is different than doctor's notes. So again, families do have that opportunity to choose without a doctor's note to enter into our virtual program due to any feeling they have as a family. Again, that is going to be a family decision that you will decide. Again, what I will do today is revise my current letter as well as revise the digital link that I had provided for you so that it makes that ability to forward that out to us quick and easy. But again, our hope is as we move through these phases, as we learn more and more what the state is going to require us to do, we'll be able to provide a program for our students and staff that is both healthy, safe, academically powerful, but filled with love. And I think that is a critical piece because, as I stated very clearly in my letter, that I am a husband of an educator, I'm a dad of 2 students, and I am just as anxious, right, for the start of the school year. But I have and will always continue to promise to you that I have and have never wavered from my charge, that I will do everything to ensure the health and safety of the children and families of Harrington Park. That has always been something that I have believed in as a man. So together, I ensure that we can deliver on that promise. We are going to deliver that for our students and our families and our children. And I look forward to us working together again as we redesign these different programs. But again, I want to thank everyone for their time. And as more information comes out, this will be a way we are going to kind of start to do this, as well as some live Zooms as well. But I look forward to us kind of getting back together within the next month and a half, both in person and virtually. So thank you, everyone, and please enjoy your day.